Hey, it's Heidi. I got my Darth Vader shirt on today. I wear this shirt in my house usually like once a month, right? As a signal, like a smoke signal going, hey, this is how I'm feeling right now. So you might want to kind of keep your distance, right? For me, that actually was a big leap in my relationships, being able to express how I felt, right? Maybe you can relate to that. Many times I didn't even know how I felt at all, and if I did know, I didn't want to share it because I thought vulnerability was kind of a weakness. So it's taken me a really long time to learn how to identify my feelings in my own healing journey and then freely be able to express them and then also articulate them to other people. So this video is extremely important right now. Why? Tensions are on high, right? People are like freaking out. Your relationships are going to be a source of strain and struggle because 9 times out of 10, we take out our emotions on the people that are really supposedly closest to us, right? They're in proximity, so they get access to it all. And there's that old Marilyn Monroe quote, you know, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Well, honey, nobody wants anybody at their worst, okay? So it's my intention today to help you uncover. It's hard enough to deal with the feelings you know you are having already, like once a month. I know these feelings, I can count on them at clockwork, but during a time of crisis, additional hidden triggers can come up and it can make you react in ways that are significantly disproportionate or irrelevant to what's right in front of you, right? We take the big picture and we take it into our relationships and it's causing us strife and struggle and strain. Why is this so important for you? This is going to pass. All right, this too shall pass. Everything changes, nothing stays the same. Everybody's going to be okay, all right? But what might not survive are the situations you get yourself into with the relationships around you, and what comes out of your mouth is like toothpaste. Once it's out there, you can't put it back in a tube and squeeze it back in there. So I want to help you navigate your own emotions and your feelings. I'm going to expose 5 hidden triggers that might be relationship triggers or issues that are coming up and surfacing in your relationship. And then I'm going to give you the 4 steps to take care of that so that you can have some peace and your relationships don't have to be one of the casualties of this crisis that we're in. All right, so the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is a hidden issue of trust. Now, if you have this outright, you're in trouble, right? Some of us have outright, but some of us actually feel we can trust the people that we're with. We don't. We've resolved kind of our trust issues and we thought we were past that, but here we are. And all of a sudden we're noticing that our trust issue is showing up now with our partner. In this time of crisis, we feel like we can't really count on them the way we want to. We start to scrutinize everything they're doing and wondering if they're taking care of business or not, or how they're doing it. And we start to get really anxious about not just trusting the outside, we bring that into our relationship and we project the lack of trust out here in here with our significant other that normally on any other given day you probably would trust. So that's how you know it's a trigger and it's being misplaced. Another one is control, number 2. Sometimes, especially if you grew up in a childhood where you felt like the people in charge, it was like they were ill-equipped. They were not, they were like, your parents were like kids themselves, and you're like, man, these people are ill-equipped to be running the show. And that feeling is coming up again for you right now. And so more than ever, if you have this repressed trauma now, if you're looking like, if you see levels of incompetence or craziness, it's going to charge you up in a way that is right? Overblown than you normally would have been reacting. And so you're going to start to feel a real lack of control. And you know that, hey, that's a trigger that's been kind of tied to what's happened in the past coming up now. And so in a scramble, we engage in unhealthy behavior, often self-destructive behavior. We revert back to old habits, self-destructive habits that are a way to mitigate our anxiety and have some kind of form of delusional control. For example, if you had an eating disorder, now you'll start to notice that ramp up again. You'll be at the pantry stuffing your face with Oreos to gain some sense of certainty in an out-of-control place. So that's how you know you're back in that old trigger again. You're reverting back to old kind of habits that are self-destructive to mitigate your anxiety and give you a false sense of control. Number 3, abandonment. if you have this unresolved issue now, it'll come out more than ever, and kind of like a feeling like more pressure put on your partner or your relationships with you're in to like save me, like a rescue fantasy where you might start to feel more needy now than ever in this dynamic, and you might be feeling like a child again, like tell me it's going to be okay, soothe me, reassure me, make me feel certain, help me navigate or manage my emotions, because you feel like they're out of control. And I have to say that in your partnership or your relationship that you're in, if you're doing that, your partner can't reassure you enough because you're feeling like you're off the rails, and it's disproportionate to what's happening now, because it's, again, tied into that past kind of trauma that you're having. And so no amount of reassurance from your partner is going to feel like enough. You can't have enough of what you don't really, what's really not going to work anyway. Number 4, you know that that's a trauma trigger. It shows up as a trauma trigger of victim mentality or learned helplessness. So you start to just throw up your hands. You just go, well, that's it. You feel like you're on a runaway train that's going down the road, and there's nothing that you can do. So you stop taking care of yourself. You stop doing the things because your hands are tied and there's nothing you can do. So why bother? So you just stop doing the routines that you would normally do, and you just kind of, again, like throw up your hands in that kind of victim mentality. That's a trauma trigger, like, oh well, right, it just is what it is, and there's nothing I can do. Well, there is stuff you can do in your situation now. There are things that you can be doing clearly still, but the learned helplessness is like, oh well, somebody else will do it. I can't do anything, and even though you can. Number 5, if you have an intense lack trigger or a scarcity trigger, maybe when you were growing up there wasn't enough to go around, and you thought you overcame that because here you are, right? But now in a situation, how you know it's a trauma trigger for people is the reaction is disproportionate to the event. This is where you'll start to see people hoarding, start to see people like grabbing up things and stocking up, and like it's the end of the world. It's like Armageddon, because that scarcity trauma trigger and that lack trauma trigger is getting triggered up for these people, and they move into that hoarding mode. It's kind of like lack of trust meets scarcity, and that's where mayhem happens a lot of the times, where people start to lock up their things and people start stealing and doing all kinds of things. The behavior that we're seeing in ourselves and in other people that is disproportionate to the event, that's the actual circumstance, is likely some kind of trauma trigger. Why am I telling you this? So that you will have compassion for yourself and other people, and notice when people are acting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, including you, that you have a reason why, and you can put it in perspective. So I want to talk to you now about how to fix it. If you found this helpful, please subscribe. Make sure you're signed up. Go to lovecoachheidi.com if you've noticed some of these trauma triggers that are showing up in your relationship and you want more help. Go to lovecoachheidi.com and send me a message and schedule a complimentary consultation. I am busy now helping people navigate this, because you need it now more than ever in this time of uncertainty, right? We know you need to know how to learn to be with the people you're cooped up with, all right? So the first thing that we do when we want to fix this is have awareness. That's what we're doing now. It's like, if you want to get out of the dark, you got to turn the lights on. And that's what this process is saying, okay, what are my trauma triggers? Is it lack that triggers me into this? And for me, it is. Scarcity does that. All of these have done that at one time or another in my own personal relationships. That's why I'm so dang familiar with them. So the awareness is the first step. After I become aware, oh my God, I'm in my trauma trigger. Okay, I know I'm acting crazy right now. It's like the second step out of that is get back in the present moment and out of the past. And when you're dealing with that trigger, the easiest way to do that is engage one of your five senses, not 6, but 5 right now, right? Because we don't want to be so esoteric. We want something more concrete, like smell something around you. Take a moment and open your eyes and look around and find everything green or blue or red that you can find in the room. Take a moment and take your shoes off and feel the carpet underneath your feet and move your feet around underneath of you. Anything you can. Listen to the sounds of the air conditioner. Listen for as many sounds as you can. Anything to reground you into the present moment will be extremely helpful. After you've done that, now you can deploy what I call the third step, which is conscious curiosity, which means you start to now ask some higher quality questions. Instead of freaking out, being in the trigger, you've grounded yourself. Now you can ask yourself, what else could be going on here? After you had a chance to breathe and do those grounding techniques, right? You say, all right, if it's lack, if I'm in a trauma trigger of lack, how can I look for evidence of abundance right now? Maybe you sit outside and you count the blades of grass if you want to feel abundant. Sometimes you got to stretch, but you got to find them, I promise. Maybe ask yourself, all right, do I have everything I need in this moment? And the lack mentality will lie and be like, no, but if check that facts, right? Check those facts. Do I have enough air to breathe? Yes. Okay. Do I have a seat holding me up? Yes. Okay. Do I go basic, right? Are your basic needs being met in that moment? Hug somebody. Ask for a hug in that situation where you can get presented to gratitude, things to be grateful for. So quality questions help. And the fourth thing is, after you've presented and asked the questions and now you actually, if it's not still hard for you, you get help. You ask somebody around you, a qualified professional, to help you. Listen, the people that you're in the relationship with, that you're actually acting out your trauma triggers with, they're not going to be able to, they're not trained. They don't know how to help you navigate that. You're making it worse for them because they're like, oh my God, I got to take care of me and you and the kids and everybody else, and I don't know how to do that. So seek out a professional that can help you with these challenges. And I'd like to be that person. So again, go over to lovecoachheidi.com and seek me out. So have you seen yourself? Leave a comment below and let me know. Are you being triggered up? Have you noticed which one of these triggers? Trust, control, abandonment, helplessness or victimhood, or intense lack or scarcity? Which one of these things trigger you up, and then how do you behave? And ultimately, we can all hold each other accountable on some level of just like having this compassion and awareness and say, okay, we're all in the same boat, but what are we doing about it? How are we lifting each other up and helping each other through? This is my piece, all right? I love you so much. Send me a message, leave a comment, and make sure you're subscribed, all right? I'll see you in another video.